Hey guys, and welcome to an update video on my lightning arrow character. I will start off the video with an Elder Slayer and a formed invitation with 70 plus quant. Then I will do a Cyrus and a Maven, and then I will talk about the updates I made and what you can still improve on the build. So I've done every content in the game. As you can see, I have 117 of 117. I have all the favorite slots. I have all the void stones. So when it comes to playing the character, you basically try to stay away from enemies because you have far shot. As you can already see, like the invitations are pretty much a cakewalk. Same with Maven and stuff. Okay. Cakewalk, by the way. Nice, a bottle 5 card, PogChamp. That was the Elder Slayer one. So obviously Trox is the biggest issue, because you can't just one-shot him, because he has his bubble phase where he goes inward for a short amount of time. The formed is even easier, because none of those bosses has immunity phase, so you can just one-shot everyone. Well, the first two are already dead. Minnow spawns, Minnow's dead. And this one even has Enfeeble, so I do less damage. Alright, so those are the two invitations. Now we'll do a Cyrus. And I'm already sorry for the bad FPS, but I don't know what it is with Cyrus. My PC is pretty garbage. Could be that. But on Cyrus I always have FPS issues. And after the Cyrus we will do a Maven, and then I will explain all the updates I did. The playstyle of the character is really insane, by the way. I really love the character. Like one-shotting all those bosses and stuff is just so much fun, and the clearing as well. The clearing you already saw in the last video. So today I got asked a lot of questions in my stream about bossing and stuff, so today I wanted to do a video on bosses. So as I already said, you always want to stay as far away as possible to get the max amount of damage because of far shot and the tree node, the projectile tree node. So one more normal phase and then it's the last phase. In the last phase we can just one-shot him before he even does anything. I even did 2-man Cyrus and one-shot him, so... Alright, so now last phase. Just gotta wait until he's out of his cloud. Alright, now I will do a Maven. So in my opinion, Maven is way easier than Cyrus. Since we have Sniper's Mark, you don't even need to try and kill any mini bosses or stuff like that. Because your Barrage with Sniper's Mark will kill everything around the main target. So yeah, if you stay far enough from the boss, you can just one-shot face him. You don't need to do any mechanics or stuff like that. There, I even skipped the memory phase. Like, every second fight, I did like 25 Mavens yesterday. Every second fight she does like a Cascade of Pain or any other ability that takes a little bit, and in that time you can just kill her before she even does her memory game. Okay, that's Maven. She did. And for sure she doesn't drop anything. Basically. That's Maven loot. I did like 25 or 30 yesterday, and yeah, don't do Maven, guys. It's really not worth. Like, the selling the crescent is 1x each, and it's way more worth than doing it. Unless you get like lucky and get multi-strike or GMP or stuff like that. You basically always lose money from doing Maven. So let's talk about the character right now. So when it comes to helmet and amulet, I didn't change anything, obviously. The next best upgrade would be an Omniscience with percent dexterity implicit or percent in, percent strength, any of those. When it comes to helmet, in late game I might switch to Blizzard Crown with any influence, I don't know yet. But for mapping and stuff, Devotos is just too superior to don't use it, because you have the movement speed, you have the attack speed, you have all the quality of life you need. And it's also very cheap, it's like 2x with them with the enchant. Then when it comes to chests, I 6-linked it now. Just basically because I'm doing Harvest and Expedition mostly. and you really want to have increased crit supports on your main link to do content like that. For normal mapping you don't need it, but with the increased crit strike support on your lightning arrow, you knock back enemies with the mastery. And so the expedition mobs and harvest mobs can't even get to you. If you don't have that, sometimes they can get to you because you only have like 60% critical strike chance on your lightning arrow. So yeah, that's why I 6-linked it yesterday. But I did all content without it before. When it comes to bow, I upgraded my bow, and I can tell you this is something you don't wanna do. I crafted this myself, and as you can see in my currency tab, I am basically out of currency. I mean, I have still a lot with the bubblegum currency, but I spent 50x on this bow crafting it. How I approached it was I bought a base with tier 1 elemental damage fractured on it. So this is why I went with a Grove bow. Normally I would have done it on a thicket bow. So thicket bow is the best base you can do it. But Grove bow has the same base attack speed and crit chance. The only thing is it has a little bit less physical damage. So it's like 0.1% DPS between a Grove bow and a thicket bow. So it doesn't really matter. So I went with the Grove bow because it was really cheap. I bought the fractured tier 1 for 1x on a Grove bow. Then I spammed cold essences until I got tier 2 or higher lightning damage. And it took me like 3 days of buying essences and stuff because I didn't want to spend too much on essences, so I always waited. I bought like 50, 60 essences, then they were like 4C each or 5C each, and then I waited 1 day and I bought like 50 again for less than 4C each, because I didn't want to spend too much money on crafting it. So then once I got the cold and the lightning damage, how I wanted it, I got only tier 2, but after like 4 days of buying essences and using them, I was like, okay, I'm stopping on that. The tier 2 is enough. I can do all content already with my old bow. My old bow I still have here. I could do all content with this bow, and it was way cheaper. I still wanted to push the limits of the build, so I decided to craft a better bow. Then I went into harvest. I did prefix cannot be changed, reforged speed until I got a tier 2 or tier 1 attack speed. This is by the way tier 2, even though it says tier 3, but it's tier 2. Since last league something is a little bit scuffed with tier descriptions. So it says on bows, it says 14 to 16 is tier 3, but it's actually tier 2. And 17 to 19 is tier 1. So it took me, I think like 10 or 12 speed reforges to get it, and I always had to craft prefix cannot be changed, so it's every try it's 2x and the harvest craft. Then once I got it, I went for Ashling to get crit chance or double damage, and it again took me 4 different Ashlings to get the Ashling to remove the prefix cannot be changed instead of the attack speed. So that's why I spent 50x on it, because I was really unlucky with the Ashling 50/50s and the speed reforges. The problem with speed reforges in Harvest is that it can also hit projectile speed and stuff, and obviously you don't want to hit projectile speed. So after the 4th Ashling I got the prefix removed, prefix cannot be changed. Then I clocked damage per frenzy charge, because that's the highest weight, like the damage per charge. So I unveiled it, I got the crit chance. It's also pretty good because it has stats on it, and stats also provide us damage. And then I crafted the double damage on it. So yeah, that's why it cost me like 50x, because of pretty bad luck with Ashling and Harvest Reforges. You can probably get something like this for like around 30x, but it's still expensive. So probably even better to just buy a bow and not have the headaches of buying essences and stuff. So then, when it comes to my belt, I still didn't upgrade it because I spent all my currency on boots and on the bow. I didn't have any currency yet to upgrade my belt. On my belt, I want to use int essences to get tier 1 strength suffix. And once I hit tier 1 strength suffix with the tier 1 int from the essence, I want to... maybe suffix cannot be changed and harvest craft life or attack for the elemental damage with attacks. And then craft on either the other. And when it comes to gauntlets, I still have the same gauntlets. It's strength dex, accuracy, some life. I bought the gauntlets only looking for the stats. I got... there you see it again, like the scuffed suffixes. It's strength and dex. And then accuracy, it's triple tier 1, not tier 2. And then I used the new currency, the Eldritch Chaos Orb. And to get it to reroll prefixes, you need the Searing Exarch to be dominant. So in that case, you have to do the implicits afterwards, because afterwards the Searing Exarch will be less dominant, so you would reroll the suffixes. So you first want to get one Searing Exarch implicit on it, the Intimidate. Then you want to Chaos craft the gauntlets until you have prefixes that you like. Those prefixes are still not that good, but it is a lot of life and some flat damage. And then you want to go for the suppress spell damage craft on the implicit. So when it comes to boots, I upgraded those yesterday. So what I did, I bought a base with dexterity, chaos res and suppress. I only needed 16% to get spell suppression cap, because I have the implicit on the gauntlets. So those boots I bought for 1x. I want to upgrade them later on with going for an Ashling movement speed and cannot be chilled, but I don't have the currency right now. And then I went for the implicits. So how you do the implicit is, you gotta roll action speed with as high as possible is the best way, because Orb of Conflicts are kinda expensive in bulk and you're gonna need a lot. Or let's say you're gonna need like 20 to 25 depending on your luck. Then I rolled the crater ones until I got the action speed. Then I crafted any Eater of Worlds implicits with the Grant. Then I used Orb of Conflict until it upgraded the action speed to 5%. Then I rolled with a Grant, just a new modifier, any modifier does it. Then I went for Orb of Conflicts again until I hit tier, like the highest tier, the 6% is the highest tier. And then I rolled Grants until I hit the chance to avoid elemental ailments. You don't really need that, you can also go for like onslaught effect or stuff, it's more damage, but I like the elemental ailment avoidance, so I stick with that one. I still need to divine the chaos resistance. Rings are still the same like on the last video, I didn't upgrade them yet. I bought a base with wet fractured on it for I think like 1x. And now I'm going to use my essences and harvest crafts on it until I get double tier 1 rest. No, double tier 1 stats on the suffix and something else useful. I would like to have chaos resistance on it as well to get my chaos resistance up to 75%. But yeah, that's gonna take a lot of time. But since the league just started, I'm having a lot of time, so why not go for it? So when it comes to quiver, I swapped my quiver to a little bit worse one like I had last time, but this one is kinda better because it has the frenzy charge on crit strike. So the quiver itself is worse than the last one, but with the chance to gain a frenzy charge on crit strikes, it's better than that one. Because there are only two ways to maintain frenzy charges on a boss. It's the quiver craft and the mark mastery, with chance to gain a frenzy charge when you hit your marked enemies. And I couldn't be bothered to spend like 5 points on my skill tree to get the mark mastery, so I went with the quiver. Basically, my friend bought a quiver with the lightning damage fractured, and he crafted it for me and sold me it. Yeah. So I didn't craft that myself. But it's pretty decent. It has the additional arrow that we need. It has flat damage, it has increased damage with bow skills, it has stats. So the optimal quiver would be life, lightning damage to attacks, then other element damage to attacks, so cold or fire damage to attacks, or the increased damage with bow skills as a prefix. And then as suffix you want additional arrow, crit chance, and like the crit chance craft here. With Ashling would be the best, but it's really risky because it could remove the additional arrow, and that's a pretty rare craft if you want to craft it yourself, so probably just go for the normal craft. And then as third suffix you want attack speed or crit multi. What I will go for is I will go for a synthesize implicit quiver with +1 arrow on the implicit, and then I will craft a +2 arrow quiver. But the base is around 20 to 25x right now, and I didn't want to spend that much money yesterday, so I will probably farm that myself in synthesized maps, or yeah, just do it later. When it comes to the tree, it's basically still the same. I went for the frenzy charge node now because I have the frenzy charge quiver, and I got to level 94 yesterday with doing synthesized maps. So now I skilled this point, and I got a % strength on it from the lethal bright. Yeah, other than that, everything the same like on my last video. I think I got the life build here as well that I didn't have in the last video. And yeah, basically the lethal pride is pretty mandatory when you start out the build, because it gives a lot of omniscience, and at the start when you start this build you don't have a lot of omniscience. So right now I have like 1.7k almost, and if I drop the lethal bright it's 1.4k, so it gives me almost 300 omniscience, because I have 1% strength node here, 1% strength node here, and 1% strength node here. Yeah, I think that's basically it. If you have any questions regarding the build or playstyle or anything, you can leave it in the comments. And you can also check my stream. I'm streaming all that live, like the whole league I'm streaming live on my Twitch channel. I will link that in the description. And if you're having fun with the build, tell me how your approach goes, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.